Welfare reforms may be partly to blame for the rise in homelessness, according to a report by the National Audit Office. Over the last 6 years, there's been a 60% rise in households in temporary accommodation. In total, there are 77,000 families who are currently homeless, and that figure includes more than 120,000 children. As for those sleeping on the streets, a snapshot last autumn recorded 4,134 rough sleepers. That's a 134% increase since the Conservatives took power. Well, Sky's Rebecca Williams is in Bristol, where a shipping container is being used to tackle homelessness. Rebecca.
Yes, indeed it is. You can see at this project behind me, there's a few shipping containers here. Bristol is an area, as you'd imagine, where homelessness is a real problem. Big cities like London, Bristol, Manchester, they all have problems with homelessness. If you have a look inside one of these, it's pretty deceptively spacious, as you can see. And the gentleman who lives in this one I've been speaking to, he was living in a tent for many, many weeks here in Bristol, and he's lived in this one for about a month. So they are trying to curb the issue. Now, welfare reforms and a rise in rents are being blamed for the issue of homelessness. And that is seriously a big problem. Lots of people, in fact, have jobs and they are in temporary accommodation. A lot of charities have responded to this news today, including Shelter. Here's what they've had to say.
We've got a budget coming up, and what the government needs to do in the short term is end the freeze on local housing allowance, which essentially is the payment that meets the gap between families' incomes and the rising cost of rent. Unless the government ends that freeze, any of the rest of the money it's planning to spend on ending homelessness is going to be wasted, quite frankly.
Now, in a single night last autumn, more than 4,000 people were reported as sleeping rough. That is a 134% increase since the Conservatives came to power. They have responded. They said that it is obviously an issue that they are trying to tackle. They want to do the very best for the most vulnerable in society. But like I say, areas like here in Bristol are using these shipping containers to try and curb the problem. But I have to say, even here in Bristol, you walk around many of the parks along the harbour side, and there are tents with so many people sleeping homeless.
Rebecca, thanks very much.